Yo, welcome back to the house in Fata Morgana. Last time we explored around the mansion a bit. We talked to a painting, which was cool. The painting gave us a key to go to the master bedroom where we saw a memory of a maid awakening her master. Yeah, we went to a bunch of places and finally we opened the door to the fourth story, which is apparently the final one, which takes place in the year 1099, which is right at the end of the Crusades. And it opens up with the white-haired girl being chased around by some people that are calling her a witch and who want to like crucify her or something. And she takes refuge in the mansion and she meets up with what was his name? Hang on. Michel, what was his name? He meets up with Michel, who lives in the mansion and who says that he is cursed and that she's gonna die. Talks about the witch a bit. And as you can see, the text log for this for this story has been fucked. Like a bunch of things are censored and there's extra red text that wasn't there when we first read the story. That seems to be from the witch Morgana. That, I mean, it says it right here. So yeah, I'm curious to see where this is gonna go. I gotta remember to check the log often during this. Master, please wake up. Return to me. Have you come to, Master? I apologize for sending you through the door without warning. I must have given you quite the scare, but I beg your forgiveness. I heard a terrible screaming from down the stairs and panicked. You say you saw the white-haired girl? I see, so you made it into the world beyond the door before me. I am deeply relieved that I was able to take your hand before losing sight of you. I presume you have already grown familiar with the atmosphere of this time period, Master. If you have seen her, as you said, then you should have a basic grasp of the situation. She was a very misfortunate girl in this era, accused of being a witch, abused and persecuted. Her life was in constant danger. It was, again, her appearance that brought this upon her. That snow-white hair and those ruby red eyes clearly differentiated her from everyone else. I don't know if I can trust what you're saying, because we still have not seen her. And the only reason that I think she has white hair was because her text box says the white-haired girl, and because you said right now that she has white hair, but we haven't actually seen what she looks like in this time period yet. Oh, and I apologize. I neglected to mention that the story is unique. As for what sets it apart, that will be made clear as we proceed. The one difference is in the time period. The tales I have shown you began with that of the beautiful flaxen-haired family, followed by the tale of the bloodthirsty beast, and then the tale of steel and ambition, proceeding in chronological order. However, the door we've just entered takes us to the period now known as the Middle Ages, long before the other three tales. Yes, that is correct. This is where it all began. The mansion's curse, the truth of the witch, and your identity. All of this should be made known. If after this tale you're still unable to reclaim your old self, then there is nothing more I can do. This story contains the last tale I am able to tell you. So I ask of you, please do not let go of my hand until it is all over. Now then, let us begin a beautiful, tragic love story of two solitary souls trapped in the mansion of darkness. In that era, the mansion was a dungeon draped in darkness. After a great deal of time on the run, the white-haired girl found herself at a remote mansion that stood in the dark, overgrown forest. All the windows were either boarded or shuttered, and it was even darker inside the house than out. Not even a ray of moonlight could enter those walls. Only naturally, the white-haired girl had assumed that nobody lived there. But her guess was incorrect. Someone did indeed dwell in the house. It was a young man named Michael. Or Michel. Michel? Michael? I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Though she could not make out the details of his face in the candlelight, she thought him a very handsome man. However, he proclaimed to her that the witch resided within the mansion, and that he too was cursed. Everyone who got close to him lost their lives. Do you think that what he told her was all nonsense? A lie devised to chase her out of the house? The truth of the matter shall come to light in time. Despite Michael's assertion, the white-haired girl decided that she would take up residence within the mansion. This era's white-haired girl was younger than the others. She was still in her early teens, young enough to be seen as still a child. but she was neither as self-centered nor irresponsible as you might expect of someone her age. She was very delicate and reserved, and acted with a great deal of modesty and restraint. The accusations of her being a criminal and a sinner were grossly inappropriate. Nevertheless, she was still chased from her home, barely managing to flee to this mansion with her life. Now, the white-haired girl thought it would be rude to simply take up space in the mansion, so she chased down the master, Michel, and asked, is there anything I can do to help? I'll clean or cook or do anything, just let me know. I want to repay you for allowing me to stay here. You need not feel indebted to me. The weight of that obligation will only turn into disdain. But I can't just stay here and do nothing. Do whatever you like, as long as you do not enter my room. This is all I ask of you. She's definitely going to enter your room. He said emotionlessly, turning away and walking off. Michel was not, I believe, spurning her. He was merely disinterested. He did not treat her disrespectfully, nor did he seem averse to her presence. Words simply did not seem to affect him at all. Not only was the mansion a prison for his body was also a prison ensnaring his heart. I should still do whatever I can. But she did not let that get her down. In fact, she might have even interpreted his disinterest as kindness. Though he was a bit standoffish, he did not attempt to cause her harm. He was nothing like the people who had accused her of being a witch and forced her to flee for her life, and she was deeply grateful for that. Thus began their quiet life together. Michel, who avoided contact with the others, and the white-haired girl, who had taken a great deal of abuse from others. Two people who knew hardly anything about one another, who were too distant to really be said to be living together. Michel spent most of his days in his chambers, so they only ever saw each other occasionally, and they hardly ever spoke. Though they stayed in the same house, they both still lived solitary lives. Nonetheless, the white-haired girl wanted to get to know Michel better. She wanted to know why he called himself cursed, why he lived alone in this dark mansion, how many days, how many years he had spent here in solitude, and while she waited for the opportunity, she also started doing things around the house. The first project she set out to take care of was cleaning. As the windows were all firmly shut, her only source of light was candles. For whatever reason, there was a great deal of candles stored in the cellar. She wondered where on earth he had acquired so many, but she never found the opportunity to ask him. It was difficult to even see all the dust and cobwebs with only candlelight, and so, considering the poor airflow through the house, she was afraid her efforts were going to be in vain. Still, she persisted at sweeping and wiping things down, one room at a time. Eventually, she made her way to the library. The dust that had settled there was much heavier than in any other room. With each breath, she had to fight back coughs. Is the white-haired girl here the maid? Is this the origin story of the maid, and that's why we're not seeing her face? It was not a room one would normally be comfortable spending much time in, but the sight of so many bulky volumes lining the shelves sent her heart aflutter with delight. There are books. Incredible, real books. The white-haired girl had never seen a book before. She had heard people describe them, but that was the first time she had ever seen one for herself. Parchment was a very valuable commodity in that era. It was something monks or scholarly priests made use of, and not a material one could easily acquire without some degree of social rank. Books were not printed with machines, but copied by hand. A single volume took an incredible amount of work to create. Even the process of binding was an art. Standing before a shelf, she stared intently at the spines. Can you read? There's so much dust. Does he not read any of them? Just a peek, just a tiny little peek, she said, making excuses to the empty room as she reached her hand towards one of the books. The tome that caught her eye was in the upper shelf. It bore gorgeous jade embossing, don't know what that means, and looked like it belonged in the treasure chest. Almost. Though she tended to act older than her age, the white-haired girl was still in her early teens and not especially tall. Even standing tiptoe, it was still just barely within reach. Ugh. At long last, her slender fingers made contact with the spine, and she began to pull the book towards her. Ah! The library had sat abandoned for some time, causing the covers to stick together, so when she attempted to pull one out, several others tilted with it. Oh no! It's the same thing that happened when we went to the library last time. And then, almost all the books on the shelf came avalanching down onto her. Ah! Ow! The white-haired girl ground, buried under a mountain of parchment. She hoped she had not damaged any of her host's valuable collection, for the mess was enough of a setback already in her attempts to express her gratitude. Looking around, she saw one volume that was almost torn in half. She did not know whether it was in that condition before, or if it happened had happened in the fall. But nonetheless, she felt horribly guilty. Sitting there, unable to get back to her feet, tears began welling in her eyes. Then suddenly, a shadow fell over the dejected girl. It looked like it took a book in its hand and returned it to the shelf. For a brief moment, the shadow's hand reached hesitantly towards the white-haired girl, then changed course towards another book. It was Michel. There was a hint of perplexity in his otherwise emotionless eyes. Perhaps he had heard the noise and came to see. Perhaps he had heard the noise and come to see what had caused it. I'm so sorry. Your books. What were you doing? I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to make a mess. I didn't mean to damage those precious books. There's no need to panic. I'm sorry. You make it sound as though I'm admonishing you. What? Did you want to read a book? I do, but that's not what I originally came here to clean. Clean? Yes, I felt guilty simply being idle. I did say you could do as you pleased, but you had no responsibility to clean anything. I just ended up making a bigger mess anyway. I'm sorry. You needed to apologize. Didn't the maid say this was going to be a love story? You look a bit too old for her, because if she's in her early teens. But I guess this is the Middle Ages, so this is normal. It's whatever. You didn't apologize. Okay. If you want to read, help yourself to any of the books. But I don't know how to read. I just thought the cover was pretty, so I wanted to hold it. Are you going to read for her? You're free to use them however you wish. If looking at them is enough for you, by all means. These are all your books, aren't they? They are. That's incredible. You have so many. It must have taken you a long time to acquire them all. 1 per month. What? My family sends me one every month. Every month? The white-haired girl turned her gaze back towards the shelves, squinting her eyes and beginning to count. How are they sending you books? Didn't you say you boarded up every fucking entry and every window and everything? When she finished, she was in awe. There were in excess of 100 books on the shelves, which meant he had lived in here in solitude for many years. She was at a loss for words. They're dull tomes, dreadfully inoffensive and not even interesting enough to waste a few hours with. Decoration is all they're good for. I see. If you can put them to some use, then perhaps my having them won't be entirely meaningless anymore. I'm going to return to my room. Don't feel obligated to clean up. Just a minute. Was there something else? Could you tell me your name? I just realized I never asked you for your name. Not knowing what to call you will make conversation awkward. You don't need my name to. I want to, though. Michel. Michel, like the Archangel. Your name suits you quite well. It suits me? It does, although it's difficult to see you in the dark. You seem to be a very handsome man, befitting of your name. I beg to differ. Giving me his name is the highest form of mockery. I expect the real Archangel is probably rather annoyed by it. I don't know. I think it's a wonderful name. And your... No, never mind. Oh, my name? My name is... Giselle. No? Like... what's going on? Oh wait, I forgot. I haven't checked the fucking log in a while. Oh, there we go. You, having been trapped in perpetual darkness, found light in the same house where I withered away. The light was bestowed upon you by a certain woman, was it not? Leave everything to me, my dear. I promise I shall make this into a most beautiful tale. Yes, I'm giving you a special treatment. A rare act of kindness from me, of warmth. You do not wish her to know the truth, and I can make better use of her like this, so it is both of her benefits to rewrite the woman you love. What? So, the guy in the painting said this, and now fucking Morgana is saying this too. But it seems like we're being lied to in the story, right? Rewriting the woman you love, like she's talking about lying. You do not wish her to know the truth, and I can make better use of her like this. When she says her, Is she talking about us, like the person in the mansion who's seeing these stories? I shall make this into a most beautiful tale. Okay, also, her name is censored here. 2, 3. This isn't... Okay, the reason... okay. Earlier in the previous stories, when the white-haired girl said her name, it was censored, and there were 8 X's. This time, she says her name is Giselle. This is 7 X's. It's not the same name. But also, when we touched the mirror, we saw a scene where a woman named Giselle arrived at the mansion and spoke to Michel. But that was not the same as this scene. Like the way they met was different. Like in that scene, hang on, let me check my notes. In that scene, Giselle... Didn't Giselle arrive there by carriage, right? She said she wasn't welcome at the village, which I guess she isn't here either. And then Michel said he was the witch Morgana. Let me, you know what? Let me go rewatch that scene right now because I think this is important. Sorry to stop reading in the middle to do this, but I think this is important. Okay, I mean, when Giselle arrived after we touched the mirror, it was also foggy, but she was talking to someone as she was arriving here. And she was like, do you want to take a break? Oh, it's okay. Okay, let's go. And she was like, oh, it's this deep in the forest? And she said, oh, okay, thank you. You must be tired after this long journey. Like, thank you for taking me here. And she says, this is the mansion I was looking for? Yes? He could have said something. Oh, well, I guess I'm going in. Does no one live here? But if that's the case, nor was I. Such a big door. Please open. So she came, in this version of the story, after we touched the mirror, she wasn't being chased by anyone. She came to the mansion with someone else, like by carriage or like with a horse or something. And she was told to come here by someone? But it was the same. The scene is kind of similar because she opened the window with the archangel, like the fucking stained glass thing. She saw the archangel by removing the drapes. But their conversation is slightly different. Like they're not saying the same things. Like she's talking about how she can see in the mansion when it's so dark, and he's talking about how he has a lot of candles. But she didn't say that this time when we sing the story this time. He still said the thing about the furniture. And also, Giselle was the one that talked about the witch living here. Michel said, do you know what people refer to this mansion? And Giselle said, they say a witch live here. The witch Morgana. Yeah, and then at the end, Michel says he's the witch, and that's the last thing we see. So why did we see a different version of that scene with like some details changed up? Was that what really happened? And right now the story we're seeing is fake. It's like the witch Morgana is like changing the story. That's what this is talking about right here. He's like changing the story to make it nicer or something. But this isn't really what happened. What we saw when we touched the mirror, was that what really happened? Let's keep reading. Let's keep reading. Please call me Giselle. Oh, thank goodness. For what? That I was able to get your name and talk to you for a little bit. We haven't seen much of each other since I first arrived, so I'm glad that I got to hear your voice. So very glad. You gain nothing by speaking to me. You have no responsibility to do so, and there is no need for you to feel joy about it. I'm not pleased out of some sense of responsibility or necessity. It's just depressing not being able to have a conversation with someone living in the same house. You do not understand me at all. As I said on that first day, my curse will one day kill you. But I'm still alive, aren't I? You are welcome to believe I am lying, or that I am merely out of my mind. But it will be too late when you realize the truth. I'll be fine, I'm sure. And even if I do die because of your curse, I promise I won't hold a grudge. Could you possibly be keeping away from me out of concern? No, I simply have no interest in interacting with anyone. I would like to interact with you, if you don't mind, that is. As I told you, you have nothing to gain from that. I have nothing, not even words to give you. My body is but a shell, even if I were not cursed. My presence would do naught but cause you discomfort. I don't think that's true. I don't believe that there's anyone in this world with absolutely nothing. There's plenty inside you, you simply haven't noticed it yet. Not all of it will only cause others pain either. If you truly believe those words, then you are a foolhardy girl. How can you trust someone you only just met? For that matter, how do you not resent everyone? Resent them? I can take a guess as to why people call you a witch, and why you had to flee all the way to this mansion. Your white hair and red eyes. Okay, so he's saying it too, so I guess we can trust that she really does have white hair and red eyes. That abnormal, seemingly inhuman appearance drew their condemnation. Don't you have white hair too? I guess you're more blonde. And I can think of any number of reasons they might have started treating you less than human. Perhaps people around you experienced misfortune, or perhaps there was a natural disaster, a famine, a plague, some kind of external phenomenon, and you were their scapegoat. Yes, you are by and large correct. And that would make me as unworthy of your trust as anyone else. I make no claim to having your interest in mind. Goodbye. If you don't mind, could you teach me how to read sometime? You listen to anything I said? I listen, yes. I have no intention of idolizing you. I don't expect you to do anything for me, and I don't wish to burden you in any way. I simply wish to be allowed at your side. Allowed to be at your side. It does not matter to me what kind of person you may be. That is all I want. I apologize for keeping you. Please consider it, if it's not too much trouble. As the master of the house, Michel made his way out of the library. He appeared to be slightly rattled. Perhaps the white-haired girl's determination had ignited something in his chained heart, or perhaps it was something else. He stared towards the darkness into which Michel had disappeared. Then she carefully wrapped her arms around the jade-embossed tome, a soft smile spreading across her lips. He's a decent man, I'm sure of it. We're alike, he and I. And thus began to blossom within her a faint sense of fellowship, as someone who also knew solitude. Is anything we're seeing right now even real? It had been about a week since the white-haired girl had taken up residence in the mansion. Staying in that house deprived of life was, I imagine, a very claustrophobic experience. Okay, wait, hang on. Okay, there's another red text. To anyone blessed enough to have sunlight as a part of their everyday lives, it would have been unbearable. But for her, the mansion, with its prison walls and lack of either illumination or recreation, was the only place she could find respite. She and Michel continued to be distant, however. He spent most of his time in his chambers, which he had explicitly told the white-haired girl to stay out of. leaving her unable to close that gap. Nonetheless, on the occasions that they did cross paths in the hallway, their eyes would meet, if but briefly. It was never for more than a few seconds. Whenever she saw him, she made a point of giving him a little smile. What are they like eating and drinking? How does that work? He never said anything, but still, when she had first arrived, he would not have even met her gaze. He seemed to be taking more and more notice of her. One day, the white-haired girl stood in the cellar, a frown on her face. Well, this is troubling. I can't go down to the village, but if we don't do something soon... The cellar was where their food was stored. Okay, there we go, answering my question. An assortment of non-perishables and dried foods, smoked meats, and cheese. Her daily meals were taken from the supplies there. However, the stockpile was beginning to grow quite small. Were she not on the run, she could have gone to the village to procure more. Or perhaps, were she a little tougher, she could have captured a wild animal for its meat. Heh. But master, you know a young, delicate thing like her was hardly up to the task of hunting for food. How does he normally get his supplies, I wonder? From there, other questions about Michel started rising in their mind. No matter how lifeless he seemed, surely he still had to eat, right? The white-haired girl nodded, then made her way out of the cellar, intending to head for his bedchamber. But on her way there, she spotted him standing by the entrance, staring motionlessly at the door lit by a single candle. He appeared to be waiting for something. May I ask you a question? Go on. I was just down in the cellar, and I noticed we were running low on food. Do you normally go down to the village to restock? I haven't been outside in 10 years. And how do you... What if I told you I don't eat... What? That I'm not of this world, and as such I have no need of sustenance. What would you think of that? That sounds very, economical. If you can survive without having to eat, that's one less thing to worry about. True. If it were possible, hey, I'd like to have that ability too. That's a pretty good superpower. Out of all the needs that you could, like, remove from yourself, eating is a pretty good one to remove. I think sleep is the, like, number one. Like, if you could remove your ability to sleep, that would be crazy, because you just get, like, 8 more hours a day. Or more than that. I sleep for more than 8 hours a day, usually. But eating is pretty good. You spend so much of your money on fucking eating. There is a part of it that's like, eating is enjoyable though, so losing that would be kind of shitty. But yeah, it would be a pretty cool superpower. It would seem trying to frighten you is a waste of time. Was I supposed to be afraid? Never mind. It doesn't matter. You asked about the food in the cellar. It's getting to be about that time. Wait, and you will find out. Does your family send you food? Why do you? It's here. Oh? If you want to know where my supplies come from, open the door. But I'm in hiding. There's no one at the door anymore. The knock is nothing more than a signal. A signal? The white-haired girl turned towards Michel to press him for more information, but he averted his gaze. Find the answer yourself, he seemed to be saying. She took several moments to gather her will, then marched over to the door. SK Pro 234 is playing Final Fantasy XIV online. So bright. The sunlight, which she had not seen in some time, was so bright it seemed to burn her eyes. Although the sun itself had not gotten any brighter, she had simply spent so much time in the dark, her eyes were no longer accustomed to that much light. The color of her eyes made them quite sensitive to light already, so when she stepped outside, her whole world went bone white. The white-haired girl stood motionlessly for 10, perhaps 15 seconds, and when her eyes had finally adjusted to the light... What's this? Something else that's making me think that the white-haired girl is maybe the maid is because we haven't seen the maid so far in this entire story. And she's been in all the previous ones, obviously. But this, she noticed a crate on the ground at her feet. She turned her head back to ask Michel about the box, but the mountain was so dark it appeared to be wholly severed from the outside world. From where she stood, she was unable to distinguish Michel from the shadows. A pang of nervousness struck her. She wanted to return to that darkness as quickly as possible. The white girl had come to yearn for that world without light, more than the one with. The crate was fairly hefty. The slightly built girl had considerable difficulty bringing it into the house. But eventually, she did manage to drag it through the front door. And then, everything went dark once more, except for the faint flicker of candlelight floating in the air. You can leave it there. I'll take care of the rest. What's... Without a word, Michel approached her and the box, withdrawing a knife that he had evidently kept hidden somewhere on his person. With it, he cut through the rope that bound the box. Go on, open it up. At his insistence, she placed her hand upon the lid. She had no idea what lay inside this unexpected delivery. Whoever had brought it was already long gone. Staring at the strange box, she was racked with nervousness. However, what she found when she pushed aside the lid was completely ordinary food. Haha. Is something amusing? It was just rather anticlimactic. Here I was worried about what might be inside. We were just talking about the supplies in the cellar. So we were. It completely slipped my mind. It should last us for some time. It's all preserved just like what's in the cellar. But I don't understand. Who would deliver all of this to you? There should be a book in there as well. What? Oh, there it is. In the library, he said that his family sends him 1 book a month. Does that mean this box came from them? If so, then why did the person who delivered this leave without speaking to him? Is he like in exile or something? Because he's cursed, so he can't leave the mansion, but his family still sends him stuff? What happened between him and his family? Is he here because they want him here? Or because he chose to be here? Take the book to the library, please. I'll bring the rest of the supplies to the cellar. But it's a big box, I'm sure you could use some help carrying it. That won't be necessary. Take the book and go. But, fine, then stay here. I'll take care of everything. Wait, hold on, please. What is it? You don't have to answer this if you don't want to. And, I'm not trying to pry, but I can't help but be curious. Say what you have to say, please. I was wondering if you could tell me why you live here in this mansion. Why did whoever delivered this box leave before you even opened the door? Could you perhaps be in prison here? I told you this the very first day. I'm cursed. It's only natural for a cursed man to live in a cursed house. Yes, but that's such a vague answer. I don't understand why you're in the situation you are. I don't know how you feel about it. There's so much I don't know. And I'm not even sure if your curse actually exists. I see. That is a perfectly reasonable doubt from your point of view. It doesn't help that you you just lied to us earlier about not needing to eat food. So that doesn't make you especially trustworthy when you talk about your curse. Having been branded a witch because of your appearance, it would make sense that you would think my curse might be fabricated, or perhaps a metaphor for something else. Alright then, come with me. What? I'll show you my curse. As he turned on his heels, the white-haired girl caught a glimpse of what appeared to be a smirk on his face, like the whole thing was some kind of sick joke. That smile carved into his mask was far colder than any look of annoyance or rejection. But despite the twinge of nervousness, she still followed after Michel. As much as he might have stood out in the crowd, with such height and long hair, his presence was almost entirely eroded away by the darkness. She felt that he could simply fade away into nothingness at any moment. Many things are buried here. Huh? Mice, insects, wild cats, and dogs. Have you ever thought it strange how little life there seemed to be around this mansion? You're right. I haven't seen a single creature since I arrived. The only sound you can hear is the wind blowing. Not that you mention it, it did seem peculiar. They were all killed by me. Or rather, they lost their lives because of me. You have your answer now. A butterfly fluttered its way into the ruined garden, dancing up and down through the air. Michel held out a finger before himself, and the butterfly, mistaking it for a branch, drifted down upon it to rest its wings. Had the scene stopped there, it would have been a picturesque moment. All that comes in contact with me loses its life. My skin, the breath I exhale, my flesh and blood, is poison to all life. But the butterfly's movements began to slow. It spread its wing in one last futile attempt to fight gravity, and then, without warning, it shriveled up into a dry husk. It's dead, all dried up and lifeless. Okay, so there's a gas leak in the house? There's a gas leak in the house that's killing every animal and is slowly killing you? Like it's been dead for days. It's like his fingers drained all the life out of it. Is this his curse? Is that even possible? but I saw it with my own eyes. If this is his curse, though, it explains much. There are more than just insect and animal corpses buried here, too. Servants who came to visit me long ago are here beneath the ground, under her very feet. That's why the servant leaves before I open the door. Should he touch me, should he get near me, his very life is in danger. No one is interested enough in seeing me to take that risk. No one will have anything to do with me. Nary a soul even wishes to see my face. Now you understand what I meant when I said I would eventually kill you. So that's why you have never once touched me. When I knocked the books down in the library, you didn't offer your hand to help me up, and only one of us ever made contact with the box at the entrance at a time. When I offered to help you carry it, you refused. I'm trying to think, like, if there's some kind of disease, like a real life disease or something that could explain this. I don't think so. I mean, obviously he could, like, the way they're describing it, like, oh, like, only one of us touched the box, not to, like, it sounds like an infection, right? Or, like, something that could spread, like a disease. But it wouldn't kill a butterfly in 5 seconds, like, so I'm not sure. If it is a real life thing, I'm not sure what it could be. Except for, like I said, a gas leak or something. That's killing small animals faster, but... Because you didn't want your finger to accidentally brush against mine. My actions were not out of concern for you. I simply dislike people. Others' interests mean nothing to me. What an odd face you're making. Do you not believe my curse is real? No, I do. It is certainly irrational, inexplicable, unbelievable. But you've shown me more than enough evidence. Has he? And I don't believe you're lying to me right now either. You could have. This could be a fake butterfly that you prepared in advance, and all these corpses could have just been here and died for some other reason. I'm gonna need more proof to believe you. In which case, you now understand how dangerous it is to be near me. You said that if you left, you would be killed, but it's been some time since then. If you're careful to cover your tracks, you could make your escape. You do not belong here. He was telling the truth about being cursed. What a cruel burden to have to bear. I can't imagine just how much he's given up on. How many lives he's inadvertently taken. And how he must have felt every time it happened. How much pain and loneliness must have given him. How much despair he must carry in his heart. How much sorrow must be weighing down on him. So no, I will not leave. I'll stay here with you. Leave this place. No, I will not. Why? Why do you insist upon remaining in this house after learning what I can do? You have no reason to stay. Tell me then, why do you try to drive me out? If you don't care for others, as you say, if you're not concerned about anyone else, then what does it matter what I do? What does it matter if I die to your curse? Yet, you're a very kind-hearted man. You've been watching out for me since the day I arrived, doing whatever you can not to inadvertently kill me. Do not afflict me with your curse. No. Here's what I think. No one capable of showing genuine care for others can honestly, truly dislike all people. You can't possibly be indifferent. No, that day we met before the stained glass window, you heard me out, you listened to my plight. You didn't try to chase me out. That day I taught you to be a good person, and I still believe that. I simply assumed you would leave on your own when it was safe. He's angry. I never thought you would be so foolish. I still want to stay in a house like this with a man like me. How does that make me foolish? Do you not value your life? Are you not afraid of death? Do you not find me unpleasant? The thing I fear most is loneliness. You're probably right that by now I could safely sneak away and get myself somewhere far from here. But even if I did, I would inevitably find myself in the same situation. The only way I can avoid that fate is to stay away from everyone, to live in solitude with no one to talk to. I know you understand how that feels. It terrifies me. I'm afraid of having to spend day after day with no one to talk to, no one to share my experience, my thoughts, my feelings with. If that's what awaits me out there, then I want to live with you. I want you to be an essential part of my life. Impossible. Please, don't chase me out. You are a cruel girl. Never again will I allow myself to get close to someone, only to watch them die. Never again. My mother was the first to die. It happened shortly after my birth. Next was my wet nurse. 2 deaths could be considered a coincidence, but as the number rose, it became clear that I was cursed. and I was forbidden from making contact with anyone, even at home. Regardless, being in the same house, accidents will happen. Numerous people lost their lives. Attendants unfamiliar with me, or those who simply brushed up against me by mistake. I'm surprised they didn't just, like, get rid of you. I couldn't take it any longer. So you chose to move here, to this remote mansion, to keep yourself away from your family. You weren't imprisoned here, you elected to live alone so you wouldn't hurt anyone. A lot of censoring here. For better or for worse, I was born into a noble house. So rather than abandon me, they provided me the means to live out of sight. I'll be very careful. I'll do everything I can to ensure no accident occur. To keep you from being alone again. I'll not for any reason touch you. You have my promise. Your curse takes the life out of anything you touch. I've been here for a while and death has not befallen me yet. As long as you do not touch you, there shouldn't be a problem. Also, and I apologize if this is simply me reading too much into things, but I feel like we're two of a kind. I fear being utterly alone more than anything, and I think you understand just how scary that is. So, why are you so stubbornly insistent on it being me? I'm sure there's someone else out there. Someone you're meant to be with. You may not have found them yet, but I believe someone like you eventually will. Because unlike me, you still have the vigor to press forward. It has to be you, I'm certain of it. Why? Because, well, you can't tell me? No, I can, just please don't get upset with me. I think I might really, really love you. Huh. I think every chapter has had like a different chapter transition sound effect when that little thing appears. His was a power that evoked images of witches or demons, the unclean, and the impure. A mere touch was all it took for him to strip man and beast alike of its life. God has quite a cruel streak to bestow such a power upon such a beautiful young man. And a strange power it was indeed, like something out of a fairy tale, like something confined to words upon a page. It seemed otherworldly, unbelievable. Nonetheless, as he had demonstrated to the white-haired girl, his peculiar powers were indeed real. That said, the world has its fair share of oddities. It just so happens that those curiosities tend to remain hidden away, known only to a few. Heh. Although you have laid eyes upon a number of unusual phenomena yourself, Master. The door to the past through which we have passed, this very mansion, and as a matter of fact, the two of us. Now, as you just saw, the white-haired girl found herself enraptured with this man and his accursed power. How do you think Michel acted in response to her proclamation? He had spent so long refusing to interact with others, no, unable to interact with them. As such, he was unsure how to respond. After standing there expressionless for a few moments, he muttered, "I'll consider it." And with that, he returned to his chambers. While he was not someone who wore his heart on his sleeve, I personally did not believe he was completely devoid of emotions. He had simply forgotten how to express them in his extended solitude. So I think he was, in that moment, in a state of complete panic. She had, after all, just assaulted him with a stream of incomprehensible declarations that, knowing the truth, she still wished to remain in the mansion, and that knowing the truth, she loved him. The love she had declared for Michel was not a fleeting puppy love. There was genuine tenderness and warmth to her words. What he had gone through his life shunned, fear, pushed away. To him, that was normal. He had never given anyone reason to have any fondness for him. So he found himself utterly unsure how to take the affection she was showing. Of course, he was not the only one rattled by the whole affair. Oh dear. Several days had passed since Michel had asked for time to think. He had still yet to show himself again. This is all my fault. The white-haired girl paced anxiously through the halls on the off chance she might run into him. As per his request, though, she kept her distance from his chambers. Nevertheless, she was beginning to worry about the fact that he had secluded himself away for so long. So she worked up her courage and made her way to his room. What if he doesn't want to see me ever again? I didn't consider I might be overstepping my bounds before opening my mouth. Every step she took was slow and laborious. Her mind raced with worry and doubt. I should at least tell him I'm sorry. Rather than out of a desire to know how he felt, she was compelled by guilt and a desire to apologize. After walking for some time, she arrived at the door, sitting in an utterly unlit hallway. She drew in a breath of musty air and let it out, repeating the process several times. Next, she reached her hand up to knock on the door, then pulled it back after doing this a number of times. Oh, how adorable she was. I wanted nothing more than to give her a little nudge. Where are you here? Excuse me? Question mark? After all, she was too sweet a girl for her worries to be anything but misplaced. I just can't find the courage. Maybe I should come back another day. What's the point of waiting? I need to apologize and get the weight off his back now. She gathered her courage once more, this time determined she would do it. The white-haired girl moved her small fist towards the door, which then swung open. Oh no, you're gonna touch him! I'm sorry. Please, you must announce your presence. I almost walked right into you. Are you in that much of a hurry for a mishap? I'm sorry. And I believe I told you to stay away from my chambers. You did, so I spent a long time debating whether I would, but I decided I really wanted to tell you this. Oh, well, actually, I'm truly sorry. What? The other day, I could barely manage to get the words in my head all the way to my mouth. There was no room in my mind for anything else. I shouted my own thoughts and feelings into your face, not considering that might not be what you wanted, just running non-stop, not thinking at all. I was terribly disrespectful to you, completely selfish. You're a kind-hearted man, I truly believe that. But you were only being courteous because you're a nice man. I'm sure you have little interest in the affection of a queer little girl. So, I would love it if I could stay here. It would be a wonderful blessing. But if you really don't want me here, if my feelings are imposing upon you, then I apologize. I'm sorry, and I'll take my leave of this house. I'm sorry. Don't be. My mind went blank for a moment. What? I find it difficult to comprehend you. The other day, you were firm in your intention to stay, and now you say you'll leave without a struggle. You hold up in your room for so long that I thought you didn't want me around. To be honest, I want to stay here. I do. I think you should do whatever pleases you. Huh? You can stay or you can leave. I'll not pressure you to do one or the other. So, I'm not imposing? To tell you the truth, I had to think about that for some time. However, I have now come to something of a solution. Since you're here, come into my room. What? But I thought I wasn't allowed to. To prevent what almost happened a few moments ago, so we don't accidentally run into each other. Sorry. You're forgiven. Now come in. Okay. Is this a necklace? Isn't this Nellie's room from the first story? If that's what it looks like to you, then I suppose that means I succeeded. Pick it up. Ah, it has a little bell. It's adorable. Please make an effort to wear that while you're in the house. Oh, so you can hear her and not run into her by accident. Because it's so dark, there will always exist the risk that we might accidentally bump into one another. So I tried to come up with a way to reduce that risk. Does that mean you didn't leave your room because you were working on this? That's right. What other reason would I have? I think most people would assume it was because they had put you in a bad mood or that you didn't want to see them. I have little sense of how most people see the world. Sorry. I appreciate it though. I'm really glad to know that you put so much thought into a life together with me. It would be difficult not to after the other day. I'm so happy right now. I can't think of any better word to describe it. I couldn't be happier. You're being dramatic. To tell you the truth, I feel a little bad about it. Why? It seems rather impertinent to affix a bell to someone. You're not livestock, you're a person. That's why you turned it into a necklace? Thank you very much. I'll keep it on me at all times. I really, truly appreciate it, Lord Michel. Don't call me Lord, please. Alright, then, I'll just call you Michel. And will you please call me Giselle? The windows. I wonder if they... Oh, what the fuck? Images are slithering into my head, replacing memories before they can surface. Stop. I might have missed some of this earlier, Because I was just like looking for red text. I didn't realize we could get some extra stuff that isn't red. Images are stuttering into my head, replacing my memories before they can surface, so I'll stop. Again, this is more like... This is pointing towards this being a fake story, like replacing the real memories or something. What? If we could open the windows... Never mind. I was just thinking you wouldn't need the bell at all if we could get some light in here. Hmm? They can't be opened? They're rusted shut. All the windows have been shut for as long as I've been here. I assume you had boarded them all up. It was done long before I ever arrived. After so many years here though, I rarely consider it an inconvenience anymore. It also serves to repel wanderers. Oh really? Is there something odd about that? No, it's just, I realized I had the wrong impression about a number of things. As I learn more, I see things in a different light. See you in a different light. There is no light though. And I'm sure there's still plenty more for me to learn. Of all the people I've ever met, you're perhaps the most difficult to predict. Not only do you have no aversion to the darkness, the dark has always been a close friend of mine. Which isn't to say I dislike the sun. Its light can simply be a bit too strong for me. I'm like some kind of unholy monster that can't be exposed to sunlight. You're anything but unholy. My name would suit you. Much better than me. Again, do you see that? The screen fucking freaked out. What the fuck is this sound effect? Okay, this is the white hair girl, and we're not seeing her, which is extremely suspicious. Again. Ah ha ha ha! What a beautiful story. Much better than the real thing, is it not, my dear? Okay, so all of this is fake. Like, all of this is bullshit, right? I don't like listening to that. So what really happened? I assume what we saw when we touched the mirror, that's what really happened, right? But we only saw the beginning. We didn't see the rest of it. Okay, let's stop here for now. Man, I'm really... The story feels like a lot more of a mystery than the others, because there's obviously, like, a lot of fucky shit going on. I mean, it seems to just be that, like, this entire story is fabricated, or not fabricated, but it is heavily altered from what really happened to make it nicer. Like, maybe what actually happened here was, like, super fucked up, but the way it's being told is being told to make it seem nicer. That's what the red text seems to indicate, and, like, this, and, like, the fucking screaming, and the weird fucking glitch effect we just saw. Guy who's only ever played Doki Doki Literature Club, playing this for as his second VN. Man, I'm getting some big DDLC vibes from this. It's not actually like the like weird effect we're seeing. They're not actually like glitch effects. Obviously, I think they're meant to be like the memories being like corrupted from what really happened. I think is the idea. What? Okay, I get that the memories are being rewritten and it's not what really happened, but I'm still really hung up on the fact that we're not seeing what she looks like. That is so fucking suspicious. What could she even look like that would make, like, what could she even look like that would make it there be a reason for them not to show us what she looks like? If you get what I mean. Because we know she has white hair, we know she has red eye. what could be surprising about her appearance? I actually don't know. It could just be that she has a different face and it's just a different white hair girl from the white hair girl that we know. Could be that. Um, maybe. Yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea what could be special about her appearance that means they wouldn't want to show us what she looks like. But anyway, yeah, I am very intrigued as to what is going on. I think like the extra text in the backlog and like it being corrupted is really cool. It's really it's a really neat detail. And it's easy to miss too if you're not someone who looks at the backlog. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna stop here for now. I'm really excited to see. I'm really excited to see where this is gonna go. But yeah, see you next time for I guess Giselle is like. It sounds like she's butchering an animal or something. I don't know what's going on, but she's doing something. See you next time for whatever this is.